ball! Blue 22!
You are watching Sports and Sorts live on YouTube. That's 75% sports, 25% sorts. And here are your hosts, Shane and the Bry Man.
Yeah, we are. Now we're off mute. So now you can hear us. Holy cow, there's a lot of craziness going on this morning. Anywho, here's a little bit. We have a little bit to talk about today. A little bit to talk about. I don't think this thing's working again, which is amazing and awesome, but something's working. The show's working, but my hotkeys are not working all that well right now. So there's that.
Your hotkeys?
My hotkeys.
Your hot buttons?
Yeah. So anyway.
Sorry to hear this.
Yeah, it's been an interesting morning. We've been on together for a good 35 minutes. Yeah.
Yes.
And
nothing was accomplished.
And nothing was really accomplished except for we picked some things, but lots of headaches because new computers have been bought, new monitors and computer.
Both of us bought new monitors.
Yeah. And we have so much more, like so many more things going on that I still haven't really 100% figured it all out yet. And I have to adjust cameras and lighting and all that kind of stuff. We got so much crazy stuff going on. But we are back. It is Monday morning. It's 10 o'clock. We got a great show today. We're going to be talking all sorts of, MLB, because we got free agency stuff to talk about, the NFL, week picks from 12. True. We got our picks from 13 that we're going to go over. We're going to get into our Rotten Tomatoes game, which is how is this actually? And that is, it was very tough, but actually at the same time, it was kind of easy. So I'm excited to talk about it.
I picked one.
It's going to be funny one of these days when we pick the same thing.
Well, maybe today's that day. Who knows?
Probably not, but that would be funny. I don't know if it's ha funny, but more what WTF funny.
Yeah, sure.
But anyway, I actually have to adjust my camera again because apparently I'm sitting way too low, and I can't.
You are sitting low, yeah.
Yeah, I can't jack my chair up anymore either. So, well, on your screen or on YouTube?
On YouTube, on my
YouTube,
screen, you're fine.
Okay, yeah. All right. So what I'll do is
I appear to be off center on YouTube, so
get on center.
I'm trying.
You look on center here in my screen, but wait, let me see. Hold on.
I am.
You're a little close to the middle.
Yeah. I mean, it's not horrible. My head height is good. Okay, that's a little better. Now I appear to have moved into a better position.
Good. All right. So lots of stuff going on. Okay, let's dive right in to. Oh, I think I know why it wasn't working. I think I know why the music wasn't working. This is all very fun for everybody that's watching, I'm sure. But let me see now.
Nobody's watching. Don't worry about it.
Let's see if this works now. Yeah, there it is. Now it works.
Okay, good.
Can you hear it?
No.
That's not good.
No. Yeah, I heard nothing. Absolutely nothing.
There's something in the background.
Didn't hear it.
Interesting.
But I believe you.
That's not a good sign. You should be able to hear that.
It's not what you want.
It's definitely not what you want. I mean, I can hear it on my speaker, which is fine.
Yeah.
But the fact that you can't hear it is not good. I'm hoping that people can hear it. So I'm just going to shut that off now because I don't know what the hell's going on. This is fun. So much fun. All right, let's get into the show. We got stuff to talk about today. The NFL is going to be the first thing we talk about. And we are going to get into our week picks, our week 12 picks. We'll do a quick recap. The Bry Man finally caught up a little bit.
I did?
Yeah. You went 4-1 last week.
Oh, why? What did you do? 3-2?
3-2. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well,
Mm-hmm.
picked up one. So what am I? 4 behind or 6 behind? I don't even know.
4, because I'm 28-10,
Okay.
and you're 24-14.
Okay. Well, a little better.
Yeah,
That's a respectable.
solid.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, that's very good. 24-14 is pretty good.
I know, but I mean, it's not like we're not picking the lines here. We're just picking games.
I think we're gonna have to start doing that soon, like to make it more difficult.
I guess. Well, I'm not good at that because I don't, Vegas and gambling is not my thing. But
Well, I know, but you just gotta. I mean, you pick your scores, so that's just what you gotta
I do.
right?
Yeah, I guess you're right. I picked the scores, so I guess it's automatic. I guess it's done for me automatically then.
Kind of, yeah. And then you just have to kind of take that into account, like, oh, shnikes.
Yeah, I guess.
All right, so let's get over to our week 12. Week 12 picks and get into the football.
I hear it a little bit. It's faint.
You probably hear that from my speaker. That's right here.
Yes. Yeah.
That's probably what you hear. Why is this thing going? There we go. All right. So, good times. We have week 12.
Yeah.
I'm going to like slide this over to you so I can adjust my camera.
Sure.
And I'm going to let you talk about it for a little bit because we'll get into, because we had last week, there was...
Which game would you like me to start with?
I mean, you could really... I mean, we don't have to go over all of them because obviously the Giants-Bucks games was a washout like we expected. You thought 24-10. I said 35-20. We both were fairly right because I think it was 30-10 was the final score, something like that. It was the Bucks won. The
Bucks played who?
The Giants on Monday Night Football last week.
Oh, yes, yeah, okay.
So that was Monday Night Football. Thursday night was Bills versus Saints.
Which was awful.
That wasn't a great game either.
No, beating.
Bills did win.
Bills found their footing again. Yep.
Raiders versus Cowboys. That was a good game. We could talk about that.
That was a great game. That game was so much fun to watch.
I mean, I had so
much fun watching that
So
game.
there's the Raiders versus Cowboys, the Browns versus Ravens, and the Rams at Packers. And I would say all three of those games are worthy of being chatted about.
Browns Ravens was abysmal to watch.
It was, but it was still very interesting. Like there was a lot of defense. I mean,
that game. It was drunk. There were 5 turnovers in the span of like a couple of minutes. It was insane. Like before halftime, it was not like Lamar Jackson. I don't know. Lamar must have thought, guys. He thought the Browns were wearing Ravens uniforms for a little while there because he was throwing picks like crazy, which was not good for me. I had one of those fantasy games yesterday where I was like 89. At one point yesterday, I was 89% predicted to win, and it was so weird. Like all along, I had this bad feeling. Like I still feel like I'm going to lose this week. Like things are not. Like I don't know. I just had the bad feeling. I had a bad feeling about the late games, and sure enough, it all went against me. And I am going to lose. I'm only up 18 points, and this guy I'm playing tonight has Taylor Heineke and McKissick, so he's going to beat me. It didn't matter because the people below me all lost, and I'm pretty much a lock to make the playoffs, which was the only thing I cared about. But yeah, so I don't know. That was just a tough game to watch. The Browns are not a good football team. They're just not.
It's a weird football team. It's really weird because you're talking.
I mean, they have games where they click and they look great.
Yeah.
But those are just they're so inconsistent, and those games are few and far between.
They have 2 amazing running backs.
Yeah, well, they have the best. They still have. Well, I don't know. It depends. Maybe Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon are going to give them a run for their money in terms of best tandem, but I mean, they're up there. But they're up there though. I mean, they have like the best. They've got to have the best trio of running backs in the league by far.
Yeah.
I mean, the other guy. I mean, with Chubb and Hunt, what's his name there? The third guy there, he can't even see the light of day.
Right.
And he filled it. What was it, Dearness Johnson or something like that? He can't even see the light of day if those 2 guys are healthy. So.
Right.
But when he played, he was really good. So, but the Browns have the Browns have a decent offensive line. They can run the ball, but the Browns are just inexplicable to me. And I think the problem that you have to start focusing on is Baker. Baker's too busy making commercials and,
Yes.
trying to sell his brand than he seems to be than he seems to be concerned with football. Because, I mean, his play on the field right now is beyond lackluster. He's not good.
No.
He's not good right now. And I still think he's a viable NFL quarterback. But right now, he's a dog out there, man. And not in the good way. I mean, like, woof. He is hard to watch. That team is hard to watch. They slog through games.
Like,
there's no flow or continuity to their offense. They just it's painful to watch.
It does all come back to him. I mean, for sure.
Well, of course it does. It generally does come back to the quarterback. That's the way it works,
Mm-hmm.
The quarterback bears the brunt of the criticism. And in his case, he deserves it. Baker Mayfield has just not been good this year. And I don't know. I mean, if you're the Browns, at what point do you start to say, is this guy really the long-term solution? Maybe he isn't. I don't know. I'm not, again, I try not to get too overblown and overreact. I'd like to say I think you still need to see more. Or, I mean, there were times with Baker Mayfield where you were like, okay, this guy's clearly the franchise quarterback, and he has not played well lately. So now you have to start questioning that, and maybe taking into account that the possibility that he's not the guy. But I also believe that you have to give him a little bit more time. Now, as far as his assets, you can't ask really for you could not possibly ask for a better running back situation. So he's got the running, he doesn't have just one, he's got 2 or 3 running backs that most teams would love to have. Then, his offensive line can protect him. His wide receivers are a problem for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's a humongous issue. I mean, the best guy you had was a cancer to the team, and you traded him away to the Rams. And he actually, Odell Beckham actually scored a touchdown this week, a long one too.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't help the Rams because they got annihilated out in Green Bay. But yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, if you're the Browns, I think you gotta get him some weapons. His best weapons can't be David Njoku and Donovan Peoples-Jones. Like you got to have.
Well, I mean,
at least his best wide receiving weapons. I mean, you got to have more than that. He's got to have more than that.
I mean, Jarvis Landry is still good.
No, Jarvis is still good, but Jarvis. Listen, I'm very familiar with Jarvis. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
Jarvis he's a great slot receiver. He's not a take the top off the defense guy. You're not going to get him down the field. He's not going to stretch the field. He's not going to, he's not going to pull a safety out with him. He's a slot guy.
Mm-hmm.
He'll get you the tough yards. He'll get you that big third down. He's clutch. He's got great hands. He's passionate. He wants to win maybe more than any Dolphin I can remember in recent history. And he's a good receiver. He's also getting up there in age a little bit now. I think he's 30 now. But the bottom line is you need someone to stretch the field on that team. And like I said, that person can't be Donovan Peoples-Jones. Even though I like his name, that can't be the guy.
Right.
There's got to be somebody else. So that they have work to do. If I were the Browns, I would still try to build around Baker, but I have to tell you, the seat's getting warmer for him. There's no doubt about it. It really is. He's on a warm seat right now. I wouldn't call it hot, but he's on a warm seat. Just
Baker,
as I think maybe anyone in that organization is. What are they, 6-6 now? 6 and 7. I don't know.
I think did they have a bye?
I think they're 6-6.
Yeah, there's something like that.
I mean, they're a 500 team.
Baker is not good. You can't put it in on him yet, but I can, because when you have offensive weapons like he had, which is Odell, and granted he's a cancer or whatever you want to call him, he's still a good receiver. And good quarterbacks will get him the ball. And Jarvis Landry. And he had Kareem Hunt. And he had Nick Chubb. And when they were all healthy, they played good, but it's not like they played Super Bowl winner good. Like no. They still lost big games. He is not that good of a quarterback. He is a bottom tier quarterback.
He's bottom third for right now, for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, with ease. I mean, right now you're probably putting him there in the last 5. Like, yeah, he's better than Daniel Jones, probably by a little. But I wouldn't know. I wouldn't put it past Daniel Jones having a better season if he was on the Browns right now. So like, if he's not Daniel Jones good, that's bad.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not great. It's not what you want.
So I would say that you have to do something at QB, and I don't know if they will.
I don't know. I don't know either. They've invested a lot in that asset. I'm not sure that they're ready to.
And can you imagine, like like Hulu and all these that have kind of attached themselves to him, if he loses his starting job?
Yeah.
Like, what a waste of money.
He's filmed a lot of commercials in that crappy stadium that they play with his girlfriend. The whole thing is.
Oh God.
I don't even like those commercials, to be honest. I don't really find them that funny.
Well, I mean, they're not that funny. That's really what it comes down to.
Anyways, let's talk about that Raiders Cowboys game though.
Yeah.
That was
Go ahead.
shit.
Get into
that.
it.
It was just fun. You know why? It was a well played game on both sides. There weren't a ton of mistakes. It was just an offensive juggernaut back and forth kind of game, and the Raiders won. You could certainly make arguments that the Cowboys should have won too, but the Cowboys did a nice job of staging a comeback there to force overtime. And that poor cornerback for the Cowboys who got called for 4 pass interference calls.
Oh, yeah.
That poor guy. He did not have a good Thanksgiving. But you know what? Dak played well to get them back into the game late. Carr played well all game. It was just a fun game. That was one of the most entertaining Thanksgiving games that I feel like I've seen in a while. And I love games like that where you've got 2 teams going at it, and there's not really a ton of rooting interest for me either way. I mean, I guess, if you're a Dolphins fan and you're trying to dream big, okay, I guess you would have wanted the Raiders to lose, but whatever. I'm not affording myself that. The Dolphins need to get to 7-7 before I'll even consider that kind of thing, which is very possible, by the way. They've got the Giants and the Jets coming up next, and they're both home games. So the Dolphins have a realistic path to 7-7. But the Dolphins always find ways to stumble, and I feel like they're going to stumble against one of these teams. I just don't know which one. The Giants seem to be the more likely possibility than the Jets are just bad. But the Jets even won yesterday. They beat the Texans. So Texans are just what a nightmare. But yeah, that Cowboys Raiders game though, God, that was fun. That was good theater, and it was just enjoyable to watch. So I really enjoyed that game because the other games, I mean, the Lions Bears game was just, oh God. I mean, it was on in the background. At that point, I was basically working on my turkey. Yeah. I was just keeping an eye on my deep fried turkey. So
I mean, the Lions Bears game was decent.
It was okay. It was, like I said, it was background. It was background noise.
It was, but it came down to a game-winning field goal, and of course the Lions go out a loser again.
Yeah. Although I'm going to insist, the Lions are still like the worst. What are they? 0-9-1 team or whatever they are.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. 0-10-1 or whatever. Still the best. They're still one of the best 0-10-1 teams I've ever seen. They're like they are in so many games that they play. Because they're not a total loss. I mean, I don't know if Goff is a long-term solution there, but you certainly have a good running back situation. They've got a really good running back situation. The offensive line is not good, but I wouldn't say it's abysmal. It's not like Dolphins level bad. But as far as that, I mean, really, they don't have any receivers. I mean, their best receiver is their tight end, TJ Hawkinson. So, you gotta give Goff a few more weapons there. There's clearly a lot of room. But again, I look at Goff in a similar way to I'm looking at Baker right now. It's like, is this guy actually a long-term solution for them? I don't even know. It's so hard to say. Goff is one of those guys who, like a lot of players, I mean, you still need to surround him with talent. You need something, right? The guy needs to have something. And he doesn't. There's no, I mean, that wide receiver room is pretty barren. Trying to think, who is their actual, I mean, do they still have, who's their receiver? I can't even think off the top of my head right now.
For who?
The Lions.
Oh, I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, what it comes down to is that Goff, I don't think is their solution. I think he's just filling.
I don't know that he is either.
I feel like they just signed him to kind of like hold the fort over until.
It was just a trade. It was just a trade. It was
right.
just, it was just that trade. Yeah, I agree. I mean, the Lions are probably going to draft a quarterback, but I don't think this is a great draft for quarterbacks.
It's not
either. So I don't know.
Well, I think he's going to be. I think it's going to be him for probably another year.
Probably
when their quarterback class gets a little bit better, and then then it'll kind of shift over to.
Yeah. I feel bad for Dan Campbell because as a Dolphin fan, I love Dan Campbell. But I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be around for any of this either. Who knows? They're just so bad. But they're going to have a high draft pick, that's for sure. So, and probably for the next couple of years. So they'll have opportunities to rebuild. And then the game that you thought would be the game of the week that didn't turn out to be the game of the week was Rams at Packers, and it just was a blowout.
It was, but it wasn't like it. If you look at the score, it wasn't a blowout. But if you watch the game, particularly in the second half, the Packers just held on to the ball and really didn't let them make any big plays downfield in the second half. It was really just a well-controlled game for the Packers. And I picked the Rams to win last week. You didn't. You picked the Packers. And I will admit that it was more of a pick that I was hoping karma was going to wreak havoc on Aaron Rodgers because of how he kind of publicly lied to everybody and then really didn't really own up to doing anything wrong. And all of that, I was hoping that
the world moved on.
The karma kind of would move on, but it didn't. Everything just kind of played out as you kind of would have expected. The better of the two quarterbacks won. But I will say, watch out going forward. I'm talking about in about a week or two. The Rams are going to get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And if they can get their new additions to click, if Odell, who is battling an injury and on top of that, seeming to start to connect with his quarterback a little bit more, watch out. Because team, because if you watch Cooper Kupp yesterday, you were talking about him last week, how he's special. Oh my God. That guy can just evade tacklers. He gets open. He can catch the ball in tight windows. He is just
does it all.
He is so smooth. And even though he's not that big, he's tough to take down.
So, even though I do not believe he's the best receiver in football overall this year, he has been. As of right now, currently in the vacuum of 2021, he's the best receiver in football. I still think DeAndre Hopkins is the best receiver in football, and Devontae Adams is in the conversation. But Cooper Kupp right now this year, this is Cooper Kupp's year. My issue with the Rams is right now they are just not greater than the sum of their parts. And what worries me about the Rams is that you've got this sort of collection of superstar players. You brought in a lot of big names this year, a lot of big names. You brought in Stafford, you brought in Von Miller, you have Jalen Ramsey, you brought in you've got Cooper Kupp, you have Robert Woods, although he's hurt. They've got a lot of big names. They've got Aaron Donald, all these big names, right? But for some reason, the Rams just can't seem to click at the moment. Now, to your point, if they do get it together, look out. But that worries me a little. Sometimes, listen, you and I have seen this a lot with Yankees teams, right? Mm-hmm. Lots of great names. Doesn't always work out. You could have these all-star teams that you put together. Everything looks beautiful on paper, but sometimes it just doesn't play out on the field. And as of right now, the Rams are still good. What are they, 7-4? They're 7-3, 7-4, something like that. Mm-hmm. They're still good, but they're not where I think a lot of people thought they would be.
No. I think you were thinking that they would be like one of those 12-4 teams, 12-2 teams, 12-3 teams, something like along those lines. They'd have just a couple losses. They'd be blowing out a lot of teams.
I mean, with this year, they'll still probably be like a 12-5 team, or at worst an 11-6 team, right? So, remember, there's 17 games this year. So, but I mean, they're probably an 11-6, 12-5 team still.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to get in the playoffs. And if when they get there, if they can get there healthy,
very dangerous. Yes.
If they get there healthy, and they could easily just plow through.
They could. I think the biggest issue for them, believe it or not, as much as I love Matthew Stafford, I think it's going to be him because he has no playoff experience. It's not his. He's not used to playing in big games.
I wouldn't be worried about him.
A lot of other players on that team are. No, I know what you're saying. I'm not worried about him. I'm just saying he has not been in that moment yet.
Right.
And he's going to need to get some of those under his belt, And if you're a Rams fan, you hope in year one he can get a couple of those wins under his belt in a postseason.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Rams are good enough to win it all, though. I mean, again, just looking at the individual parts, yes, on paper they're very aesthetically pleasing on paper. It's like a hot model, Like it all looks good, but do you really want to be in a relationship with her?
Mm-hmm. Tom Brady did.
I don't find her attractive.
She's kind of weird looking, yeah. She's very thin.
I've never found her attractive, but I think part of that also has to do with the fact that she's with him. So I think that takes away from the luster of it. But the bottom line is, yeah, the Rams are like a great sports car, but I don't know that they're not very practical though either.
I don't know.
So everything about them is shiny and pretty, and
yeah, but
that doesn't always win. It doesn't. That doesn't always get it done. And right now,
you're not wrong.
But and here's the thing with the Packers though too. Now, as well as the Packers are playing, and obviously it looks like, as it has in many years in the past, though, the road to the Super Bowl goes through Green Bay, right? Probably.
Mm-hmm.
But that has not been a guarantee for them in recent years.
No.
It's been a problem. They get these home field games, they can't win. They lose in divisional rounds. I don't think they've lost in wild card rounds, but they lose in divisional rounds and they lose in conference championship games.
Yes.
And that is not. So the Packers, I mean, look, I almost wonder if the Packers are one of those teams where they'd be better off actually just playing on a road in a bigger game. Not because on paper you would think, oh, well, you want the advantage of Lambeau, right? You want the frozen tundra, the cold, the snow. You want that 30-degree, with a -10 wind chill or something, and that all sounds great, but the execution for them in recent postseasons has not been there. They have not gotten the job done in those games.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
there's if you're the Packers, you're still where you want to be, right?
Yeah.
You have
I just don't. I'm really hoping that they kind of falter, and I hope it's really because of Aaron Rodgers this year, which is something very rare because in the past I've always kind of enjoyed his quirkiness, but I never really thought of him as like being a douche and a liar.
Yeah. It's the lying. The lying was still the thing that was.
It's and then he didn't own up to it. He's just kind of like
right. Yeah. He didn't really own it. Yeah. No,
take accountability. Hold yourself accountable.
I'm not a fan.
No.
I never really was a fan of his, so this made it easier to just sort of dislike him. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still hate that he's not vaccinated. I don't like it if people are not vaccinated, especially with I'm not going to call it Omicron. I'm going to call it Unicron, just because Unicron just sounds way better.
The good news about Omicron is that it's looking like it's not that big of a deal. Who came out and said that it is the biggest. It's actually they've actually labeled it as mild.
Oh, did they? Was that just this morning? Because as of yesterday,
last night, they labeled it as a mild variant, and that the biggest side effects right now are just being very tired.
Oh, if you're vaccinated, you mean?
No, both. Unvaccinated and vaccinated people are just tired.
Oh, well, I'm just tired all the time, so I wouldn't even fucking. I'm old and tired, so I wouldn't know anyway.
And then,
can I call it Unicron though? I just want to call it Unicron.
Sure, whatever. I don't care.
I mean, if it was a Transformer, that's what.
And then the other thing is that, and then Pfizer came out and said basically their Paxlovid pill, they can make 8 million different variants of that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it was 8. It might have been 80. I think it might have been 80 million.
Science is sexy, isn't it?
It's so crazy. I was like, man, science. That's crazy. Like 80 million different versions of their Paxlovid.
God, if only weirdos out there didn't think that politics and science were mutually exclusive and that they could act like or religion, like all these things can coexist. Imagine that.
Can't.
It's so strange.
It's crazy.
It's a crazy world. Well, I'm glad to hear because I was reading some stuff last night that sounded pretty daunting and kind of frightening.
What did you read? What did you read?
Well, because it had multiple mutations in it, like double-digit mutations within it.
And sometimes that can be really bad, and sometimes that can be good. Right.
But that it had the possibility to slip past vaccines. And I'm just like, oh my God, we're going to get knocked right back into the Stone Age again, like we were 2 years ago. So,
yeah. No, it seems like it's not as of right now. I mean, it's still early, but as of right now, not that bad.
All right. That's good to hear. Has the stock market reacted to that today? Let's take a look.
Yes.
Positively, I would assume.
Yes.
Well, not that great. It's only up a little bit.
Well, it was up a lot.
It's only up 25 points right now. The Dow, I mean. NASDAQ's up pretty big. S&P's up, 36.
The Dow is not, but S&P is up 0.8.
Yeah.
The NASDAQ is up 1%. That's a big move in a day.
Yeah. No, it is.
A big move in the day is if you're close to 1%. I mean, the thing is it was down 2.25%.
Yeah.
As of Friday. I mean, that was a big, big dump day.
Anyways, back to sports.
Yeah. So,
what are we picking? Are we picking games for
picking
this week?
games? We got new games.
Let's pick some games.
Unless you wanted to talk, more about the Raiders and Cowboys. I was just very happy to see, Derek Carr put it to Dak a little, because I think Derek Carr is a better quarterback than Dak. So, and I will also say
I probably agree with that. I like Derek. I've always liked Derek.
And I will say that Dak, I do think is going to make a very good coach, and I do think he has a good brain. I just don't think he has the assets. Like, he doesn't have the great arm. He's not super fast. He's just big and durable. So like, people will bounce off of him when they're trying to tackle him from time to time. But I think he's got the brain for it. I just don't think the skill is necessarily that elite.
By the way, the Bengals made a statement yesterday. 41-10 drubbing of the Steelers. They basically made the statement that again, that is one of the toughest divisions in football.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as good as the Bengals are, they're still only second right now behind the Ravens. Although I will tell you, the Ravens, after watching them last night again,
look good.
They didn't look good. It looks like I think the Dolphins gave the league a blueprint for the Ravens, and that is blitz them. Blitz them and blitz them and blitz them, because
he makes really, really bad throws under pressure.
Yes, he does.
He just flings it.
But the Dolphins exposed that. The Dolphins were the ones who exposed that.
But you have to have a decent secondary to do that.
Yes, and that's the thing. The Dolphins do. The Dolphins have a great secondary. Yeah. That's actually the best. That's the best thing the Dolphins have. They have a really good secondary. But they blitz. The Dolphins showed a lot of blitz packages, and that is the key to beating them.
And now it's up to Lamar to be able to read.
He's got to adjust. He has to adjust.
Yeah.
Yep. They have to make adjustments. What I think is hurting the Ravens a little bit is, listen, they lost their two best running backs right off the bat. J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards were gone. Right off the bat this year, before they could even get on the field. Mm-hmm. And so, the Ravens have been stuck with retreads.
They still got a dub yesterday, though.
Like guys like Devontae Freeman and Le'Veon Bell, who they actually have already cut, and Latavius Murray, although I like Latavius Murray. But
Freeman's been doing a good job for them.
He's been fine. Fine, but he's not J.K. Dobbins. Dobbins is better.
No. Oh.
Dobbins is younger, better, faster, stronger. I mean, that's the guy you want on the field.
Freeman's got a lot of tread. Well, he's got a lot of tread off those tires.
Yeah,
he's been in the league for a while, taking lots of hits.
He does.
So, but he is a very solid fill-in. And if they actually just made him their running back, I think they'd be okay.
Yeah.
He's a very, very serviceable replacement for this year.
The only thing quickly I want to say just about the Dolphins is I believe yesterday, because I'm seeing a lot of it on Twitter now, as of yesterday and as of this morning, especially, a lot of the Tua detractors, some in the media, some just Dolphin fans, have come around because I think they saw what I saw yesterday. I watched that entire game, of course, and that was a good defense. That the Panthers' offense is, I mean, Cam Newton's he's as washed can be. Okay, like he's just
so sad.
It's.
I mean, I've never really liked Cam Newton, but he went from being an MVP
to whatever this is now,
to being just an absolute shell of himself.
He has no arm. Although some of his receivers let him down a little yesterday. There were some drop passes, but he's got a noodle for an arm. He threw multiple picks. The Dolphins had him just looking awful. Yeah. At any rate, Tua, though, showed you yesterday against a very good defense.
Did he show you that he was?
Well, I can't hear, so
it's taking forever to load. I don't know why.
But he was doing what he showed
job.
You, though.
There you go.
And what he showed a lot of Dolphin fans yesterday is this is the guy. You can build around this guy. He is a franchise quarterback. Get him a competent offensive line and even just a decent running back and watch him thrive. He's the guy. I've said it all along. I've believed it from day one. Every week he's looking better and better, and he's proving a lot of people right. Mm-hmm. And he's proving a lot of people wrong. And I was actually very happy to see some Dolphin fans gladly eat some crow this morning about him. There were a lot of Dolphin fans who were like, you know what? Maybe I was wrong. Maybe he's the guy. I still believe he is. I just think that you have to give, and he is doing this, mind you, with still a borderline historically bad offensive line. He's out there making play. I know if you look at the stats, you're probably thinking, well, he didn't throw for 300 yards or have, 3 touchdowns yesterday. No, but he made some really great passes. He was extremely accurate yesterday. And listen, his offensive line put him in a couple of tough spots. He took some shots because that line is just terrible. And give the Panthers defense credit. That's a good defense. But Tua really looked the part yesterday. He was able to move that team up and down the field. And he made some big boy throws, and he was able to evade
big boy pants.
He made throws that franchise quarterbacks make. He can thread the needle. He's extremely accurate. I know people want to question his arm strength, but the zip that guy has on the ball in the intermediary between that 0 to 15-yard range is incredible. He's incredibly accurate. He's got a quick release, and he can thread the needle, and he can make some just incredible passes on the perimeters, on the outside, going towards the sideline, guys. He can hit guys in stride. He's so deadly accurate within that 0 to 15-yard range. And to me, I mean, that's the majority. I mean, if you really think about it, people get obsessed with quarterbacks with big arms. Okay, it's great to have a big arm. But ask yourself, in the course of a game, how many 20-plus yard throws are you really making? I mean, where I'm talking about where the ball is actually going 20-plus yards in the air. Not where you hit a guy in stride and he runs, he yards after catch for 20 to 30 yards. Mm-hmm. I mean, throwing the ball in the air 20 plus yards, it's not even a handful of times. And Tua has actually already proven he can make those throws too. So the thing that I think is interesting is that if you just put a competent, I'm not even talking about, I'm not talking about a Pro Bowl offensive line in front of him, a competent league average offensive line in front of him, this kid, he will cook. He will. Okay. He'll be the real deal. And I'm more convinced of it now than I was before. And I was still convinced of it as I have been since day one. By the way, there was something that came out. I don't think I have it in front of me, but I can give you relatively close numbers, I think. So yesterday actually completed what was his 16th actual NFL game. So theoretically, he started his first NFL season was completed yesterday. Sure. So I think he had so he's got over 3,000 yards, 21 passing touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and 6 rushing touchdowns. So he's got 27 total touchdowns and 11 picks and over 3,000 yards. If I had told you as a rookie, just in a rookie, if those were the numbers, wouldn't you have said, wow, for a rookie, franchise quarterback? Right? I mean, wouldn't you have said that?
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. He's the guy. And you know what? For Tua haters, it's time to start realizing he is the guy. Now, the question is whether or not the Dolphins are going to give a shit at the end of the season because they may still they may still be in love with Deshaun Watson. But Tua still has a handful of games here to prove that they should not make that decision. And you know what the best way for Tua to do that? Just keep fucking winning. Just keep winning games. You're 5-7. There is a path to 7-7 in front of you. Just keep winning games. One game at a time. Keep winning them one by one. And this narrative will very quickly change.
Okay. All right.
Also, he can save your job, Chris Greer and Brian Flores. He can be the guy to save your job. So maybe, throw some support behind him.
So, what was the score yesterday?
Which one?
Dolphins.
Oh, it was like 33-10. Oh, they rolled them. Rolled them.
33-10 win.
Yep.
Miami.
And most of their wins have been pretty big in this 4-game winning streak. I mean, the ugliest win was actually the win against the Texans. And that was because Brissett was mostly playing, and then, Tua came in. But they've played since Tua's been back, they've played really well. Like, I mean, their defense is playing lights out. I mean, their defense is so stingy right now. And they're getting turnovers again. It's just like the defense was last year. But as I've said to you before, and as I've said, my brother and I have had these conversations. It's what they're doing is great, but you can't start a season 1-7. You just can't. So there still has to be hell to pay at the end of the season because they're still not going to make the playoffs. And at best, 8-9 is probably where they finish. If that 8-9, I could see 7-10. If they got to 9-8, great, but still that's a non-playoff scenario. I mean, honestly, they have to win out. They have to win out just to even have a chance to make the playoffs to put them at 10-7, which, by the way, was the record I predicted they would have this year. But that still means you got to win 5 straight games, and they're not going to do that. They've got some tough games here.
Right.
The next 2 are easy, but after that, it's going to get tougher. So
the poll goes live after the 33-10 win for Miami. Do you think Tua is the franchise guy? Hashtag Miami, hashtag Dolphins, hashtag Fins Up, hashtag Miami Dolphins, hashtag NFL.
All right, I will take that right now, and
I'm putting it right there. Boom, it's up. It's live. All right, so now let's get into Week 13 picks. We have Monday Night Football, Seattle versus the Washington Football Team.
In Washington.
In Washington, yes.
In the nation's capital.
And it is an even matchup for the spread. And it's a 47-point over-under.
Okay.
So, after drubbing me last week, you get to go first. Who wins this game?
You know what? On paper, because the Seahawks have not played well lately. They don't look good, like a good team. I don't know where you're picking on this game. I'm going to go with the Seahawks in this game. I like them on the road to maybe pull a slight upset here. I don't fully trust the Redskins at the moment. They've played a little better. Taylor Heineke has played a little bit better. Antonio Gibson's a total stud. I love that guy. Oh, God, I would kill for the Dolphins to have a player like that. But you know what? Bottom line, I don't know. I got a weird feeling tonight that as bad as the Seahawks have played, that maybe they're going to go in and play a solid game and pull out a decent road win. Ugly game. But I'm going to go 22-16.
All right, 22-16.
Hawks. Go Hawks, as he would say.
All right. So because Russ has played so terribly, he has been throwing the ball all over the goddamn place. He is not connecting with his receivers at all. I think there's still some residual effects on his hand. And his offensive line is an absolute sieve. And he gets punished. And I feel bad for him. But I do like the matchup for Washington a little bit better here because I feel like the Seattle Seahawks they're also not very good on defense. and they've been giving up lots of yards to not the greatest of quarterbacks. So I'm going to say that, the Heineke is going to go and throw he's going to probably put up 250 to 300, going to probably have a couple touchdowns and maybe throw a pick, or a fumble or something like that. But I do think that they're going to win. And I have the score 21-17.
So this is an opportunity for me to pick up a game, maybe.
Yep. Okay. Washington football team. And this is the only reason why I'm doing this is because I really feel like Russ is just battling injuries, and him playing at 50%, which it seems like he's playing at, because he is not connecting on easy throws.
Yeah.
So he's either hearing footsteps or he's just really injured. And him being at 50% is not going to be, he's going to get torched because he needs to be able to move. He needs to be able to have accurate throws, and he's just nowhere close to that guy right now. And I need to see probably almost 2 weeks of him being good. And Washington's football team, their defense, although they can give up some yards from time to time, they aren't terrible.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But I do think that the Washington football team is going to.
I had a feeling you would go with Washington, which is partially why I went with Seattle.
Okay.
Because honestly, there's really, if you've watched the Seahawks lately, they're playing very uninspired football. So
it's terrible. I mean, and to be honest, it would do them justice to just bow out of the season.
Just pack it up.
Pack it up. You have your franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
Sit him on the bench, get some receiver or some offensive line help in the offseason.
Yeah.
But they never do.
No, I know. They never take care of him. I'm surprised
and he always threatens to leave, and he never does.
He should.
At this point, I mean, his stock is so low.
I know. Well, I mean, there would still be
people would still line up.
Still be teams line up to get him.
Like the Browns.
Because teams would put him in a better situation.
The Steelers.
Right now. He's got a bad offensive line. He has no running game. He's got one receiver, and that one receiver is bordering on becoming a really big distraction.
Yeah.
Oh, I shouldn't say that. He's got he's got Tyler Lockett too. Tyler Lockett is actually very reliable, but DK,
he has no time.
with all his big playability, he's a problem though. He's a distraction right now. He's more distraction than production, so it's not good.
True facts. All right, let's get into the next game. Thursday Night Football. Dallas at Saints. This is coming after a game that you would have thought that the Cowboys would have won against the Raiders because they do have a better team, but Amari Cooper was out. So that did hurt them a little bit, obviously, because they couldn't beat the Raiders. The Cowboys are 6-point favors, and the over-under is 47.5. Who you got?
Dallas revenge game, 33-20. They'll go in there. They'll take care of business. They're not gonna dick around. They're gonna be pissed at this loss that they had on Thanksgiving afternoon.
Is Cooper gonna be back for then? I think so, right?
Yes, he could. This game he can play in. So yeah, he'll be back
because he was just he just had to sit out the 10 days for quarantine.
Sit out the 10 days, right? Yeah. So he'll be back this game. So Dak will have his full complement of weapons. They'll be ready to go. That team will be ready to go. And the Saints just aren't that good. Let's be honest. That's just not a good team.
Okay.
So, I gotta give that one to the Cowboys with ease.
All right. Well, I also have the Cowboys. I have 35-21. And all for the same reasons that you did. I think that, they're just going to go bananas. I think that Dak is going to light it up. He's going to throw for a good amount of yards. I think you're going to have Zeke, run for probably 100 and Pollard probably going to do some stuff. And it's just going to be a big, basically comeback game for them after that loss. And they've actually, if you look over the last few weeks, they have not played great. And, it just goes to show when you have Amari Cooper, it's a different team.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
So, I mean, and it's not like he still has lots of weapons. He's got a good tight end.
Oh, yeah.
He's got another great wide receiver. Like he has got lots of weapons, and he has, Galloway's there, and there is so many weapons.
Good
for him.
running back situation.
His running back situation is phenomenal. It's like, the top 2 running back, the tandem running backs.
It's a top 3, I would say.
Yeah.
Because I would probably put only Dillon and Green and Chubb and Hunt above them.
Right. And Chubb and Hunt haven't done much this year. So
they just haven't both been healthy at the same time.
Right. So
and sometimes they've both been hurt.
One of them gets hurt all the one of them always is hurt. So
they get banged up.
So I mean, and that's kind of where you're at. I just think it's going to be a payback game. Not really a payback game for the Saints, but to the Saints, but just in general.
Just
get their mojo back, and having Amari Cooper is gonna be good for them.
Yeah.
All right. Sunday Night Football: Denver versus Kansas City. Kansas City is 9.5-point favorites. Who you got?
Well, speaking of teams who I think are getting their mojo back, I think Kansas City falls into this category. Denver will keep the game competitive because their defense is pretty decent still. Patrick Surtain II is really, really he's a good player. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think everyone knew he was going to be coming out. Mm-hmm. He's so much better than his dad, and his dad was such a good player. His dad was good. So, he must, what a proud papa he must be, huh? But I like the Chiefs in this. I mean, as good as the Broncos defense is, I still got to go with the Chiefs in this one. Let's go 28-17.
That's so close to
Chiefs. I just think that there's only so much you can hold them down, and it's almost like an accomplishment to keep the Chiefs from scoring 30. Yeah. So I like the Chiefs to keep rolling. I think they're getting their groove back a little bit.
I'm with you because so you had 28-17. I have 27-18.
Okay. Sure. Why not?
And I'm basically picking this way because I still feel like they're trying to catch their stride. They're still not quite there, but they are getting better and better as every week goes on. But what we talked about last week with the Kelsey being such a good tight end, and how Andrews is catching it. I think he passed him last week. Did you see that catch that he made, Andrews, for the Ravens?
Which one?
Where he reached back one-handed.
Oh, yes, I did. Yeah.
And reeled it in. And then of course he tried it again, and that totally screwed him up because he threw the ball right into the defense's chest, and they ended up having a percentage.
I guess if I had to choose between the two, I'd probably still take Kelsey by a hair, but it's really close.
I don't know, man. That
guy, Andrews is awesome. Is awesome.
He is. I mean, like that, and you don't have the quarterback that. I mean, Lamar Jackson's Lamar Jackson and all, but it's a different level when you get to Patrick Mahomes. His arm talent.
Well, he's a better arm.
He's a better thrower. Yeah.
Yeah, of course he is.
And oh my Lord, that guy, I was just blown away watching Andrews play. He was just all over the place.
He was such a good college player too at Oklahoma. Woo. Oh my God, was he good?
Woo.
Yeah, he's fun to watch. He's good. He's a good player.
Yeah. All right, then we have of course. Let me see if I can find it. I moved it. There it is.
Let me see if I can hear it. I sort of hear it.
No, because it's taking forever to load again.
Oh, I thought I heard something. I guess not. Yes, I'm hearing things.
You can hear that. You know what I'll do? I think I have it over here too. I'll just do this. Here.
Well, there we go. That I hear clearly.
Yeah, I have to go back to my old soundboard. I'm trying to use this, and it's just not working well. For that. Because you can't hear it, which is the problem. Because I know you love to hear. I like you hear it.
I love to hear things, yeah. I do like the scream.
All right. This is really the game of the week, and we're really excited about this because it has two young quarterbacks going head-to-head.
Giants Dolphins in Miami. Daniel Jones and Tua Tagovailoa. That is not the game of the week. It's the game I'll be watching, but it's not the game of the week. What is the game of the week? You tell everyone.
The Los Angeles Chargers at, that was loud, sorry, Cincinnati Bengals.
It is the game of the week.
Herbert versus Burrows.
Joe Burrow. Yeah. Two teams going, in my opinion, in slightly different directions right now. The Chargers have not looked good. The Bengals after I think that, I mean, the Bengals have had some slip ups too, though. Let's be honest. There's been games that they probably on paper should have won and they didn't. But they looks like they got their groove back in a pretty big way this weekend, but just by drubbing the Steelers by 31 points. I have to go with the Bengals in this one. Their defense is better than the Chargers. And right now their offense is really clicking. Joe Mixon is just at the height of his powers right now. And Burrow is really working the ball all over the field. He's utilizing every player on that field. I mean, yes, he's got a great rapport with Jamar Chase, but he's getting the ball to T. Higgins. He's got Tyler Boyd. They have a solid tight end situation. And again, he's got Joe Mixon. And Joe Mixon is getting it done right now. That team is getting it done right now. And this game will be no different. They're going to put points on the board. I'm going to go 38-24. So actually a relatively big win for the Bengals. And I think their defense will get some turnovers too. I'm not worried about Herbert. The guy's still a stud and he's still going to be a player, but his yards per throw average right now is obscenely low. It's like 7 point something. And for a guy with an arm like that, who should be pushing the ball down the field more, especially when you have weapons like he has, and it's not happening. So I think part of that has to do with Eckler too, though. When you have a guy like Eckler who could be a safety valve, you're going to dump the ball off to him, and you pick up 4, 5, 6 yards on a throw. So, when you have a guy like that, that's going to hurt your average yards per throw because he's just a reliable guy that you can dump the ball off to. But when you have Keenan Allen and Mike Williams stretching that field, especially Mike Williams, he can really stretch the field. Those are guys you got to utilize. And he's just, I don't know, something's a little funky. I mean, if you look back at some of his recent games, he still puts up big numbers, but he's doing it in losing efforts too.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's because the Chargers are playing from behind. This week will be no different. So I got the Bengals pretty big. 2 scores, right?
Yeah, I didn't hear what you said. So what did you say?
38-24. I don't trust the Chargers at the moment.
Wow, that's a big score there. I am going to. I'll let you see if you can catch up here a little bit.
Oh, you're gonna throw me another bone?
Because I do like Herbert a lot. I do think that he has been struggling a little bit. I mean, I just feel like he's having a hard time getting W's. Being 6-5. The Bengals are 7-4. Obviously, the Bengals are coming off a drubbing of you said the Steelers, and I just feel like the Chargers. I feel like the Chargers are going to go in there and sneak out a win.
Okay.
I feel like this is more of a hope than a guarantee that I'm throwing out there. I'm really hoping that the Chargers can go out there and give them put up a good effort, keep the game close, and come out with a win like 28-24. And I just feel like the Bengals, after that big, huge game, are going to come into this one feeling a little bit full of themselves and maybe make a few mistakes early.
Okay. All right. It's fair. It's
All right.
a fair assessment.
So I have 28-24 Chargers. You have 38-24 Bengals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Okie doke.
Bengals team can put points up, man.
Yeah, they can. They really can. And that's why I'm thinking maybe early, Derwin James gets a pick or something.
Maybe. My man Derwin.
I love Derwin. He's best.
My man DJ.
If there was ever a guy that I'd want, because we have good safeties on the Bills, but man, is Derwin James a special guy.
Well, at the moment, I can't argue with the Dolphins' safety situation because Brandon Jones looks like he's a future Pro Bowler, perennial Pro Bowler. I mean, not Brandon Jones, Javon Holland, and Brandon Jones is actually has been a really good player. He didn't play yesterday; he was hurt, but he's been like the Dolphins safeties are probably about as good as they've been in a long time. And again, Javon Holland looks like a perennial Pro Bowler. So
yeah. All right. So let's get into should we get into the wheel? Or should we do you want to talk about MLB real quick?
Yeah, a little bit.
All right. Well, let's get into the MLB, and that is a wonderful thing. Technically, state of the Yankees, because we're going to be getting to the Yankees.
I guess if you want to call it that.
Oh, I want to call it that.
Yeah. So
it's really just MLB.
At the moment, let's talk about the big one right off the top of the bat. At the moment, it looks like the Mets are the favorites to land Mad Max Scherzer and bring him to the Big Apple. Right now, what's being thrown out there, apparently there's an offer to him, and wait till you just these numbers, my God. Mm-hmm. A 3-year, $129 million contract, which would put his AAV at $43 million per year.
Wow.
It suggests that they have the top offer and that the Dodgers seem reluctant to go beyond 2 years. If you're Mad Max, you pretty much need to take that deal because they're throwing $43 million a year at you and they're giving you that 3rd year, which is probably something that you want. And that to me looks like it's probably going to happen. That is your baseball story of the offseason right now, should that go down. There have been some other signings, certainly not on that magnitude. The Texas Rangers are an extremely active team this offseason.
Which is really weird to me.
They said they were going to spend big, and they have. So Marcus Semien went there on a really big deal.
Which is weird because didn't Cashman say that we were going to spend big?
Well, we'll get to that. So 7 years at $175 million for Marcus Semien to go to the Rangers. The Blue Jays signed Kevin Gausman to a 5-year, $110 million deal. There were a lot of Yankee fans bitching about that. That one didn't really bother me that much as a Yankee fan. First of all, Kevin Gausman, who had a really good year this year with the Giants.
He's also had a lot of bad years.
He's had a lot of bad years. This was like his best year. The guy's 30.
Yeah.
So, it's not that there's risk in terms of his age. It's risk in terms of, is he going to give you that performance again?
Yeah.
Risky.
It is risky. It's risky, but at the same time, he always, I want to say he gives innings, but he doesn't even really do that. He's never thrown over 200 innings.
No, and again, he was good this year, 14-6. I think like a 2.89 ERA or something like that. He was good. He was really good this year for a first-place Giant team.
He pitched well last year too. He had a sub-4 ERA. I think it was like 3.6. And he's had other years where he's had good seasons. I think in let's see, that says 2018, 3.92. 183 innings. He strikes out a decent amount of batters. Never 9 per 9, but
I don't know.
Last year, he had an incredible season. It's his best season ever. And then you got to understand, is it because he was in San Francisco and more of a pitcher's park, or is it because he figured it out, or because he had a Hall of Fame catcher to throw to? Or was it because we don't know. We really don't know, and we will see.
It all just came together for him last year.
This is by far his best season ever.
Yeah. So the Rangers also staying busy, signed right-handed pitcher John Gray. That move does nothing for me. That guy basically pitches to a 5 ERA, and he's like 8-12. I don't know that whatever. They said they were going to spend, and they're spending. Nick Castellanos is reportedly seeking a $7 or $8 million, a 7 or 8 year deal,
which is ridiculous.
And I don't know. Again, he's 29. Not that he couldn't get it, but I wouldn't give him that. And I like Nick Castellanos. Who doesn't like Nick Castellanos? But he's a good player. But I don't know that I would be giving him that kind of money. Elsewhere around the league, it is expected that Corey Seager will sign somewhere today. Today is. It's almost like a self-imposed deadline. Again, the thing to keep in mind is that the collective bargaining agreement expires on December 1st, which is 2 days away. Mm-hmm. And in order for today is expected to really be moving day around Major League Baseball, because in order to get all the paperwork filed with Major League Baseball offices, you pretty much have to agree to terms today. So it is expected that Seager will sign today. The favorite as of right now is also the Texas Rangers, and the Yankees are looking like they're going to be on the outside in on him. As far as other deals, those are kind of the big ones at the moment. Nothing really hot on Correa right now. Seems to be sort of quiet on that front. Maybe he'll end up waiting until after the lockout. I don't know. And some minor news, the Tigers are expected to non-tender Matthew Boyd, who's a left-handed starting pitcher. So that could be a guy. I mean, again, this is another guy that throws to like a 5 ERA, but whatever.
Yeah, I just did some quick research.
Cole Calhoun actually is also signing with the Rangers. The Rangers have been very, very busy. The other big interesting thing I thought was the Rays. This was sort of last week. Mm-hmm. Oh, the Rays also signed Corey Kluber, but Rays,
I did see that.
The Rays are, and Byron Buxton did agree to an extension with the Twins, and Avisail Garcia signed with the Marlins. But I thought what was interesting was the Rays gave that. What's his name there? That 20-year-old kid, was it Wandy Garcia, right? Uh-huh. Oh, and the Mets also signed Starling Marte. So the Mets got Starling Marte, and they're going to have Mad Max. They also signed Matt Canna, and the Red Sox signed Michael Wacha. Also not a move that – and the Mets signed Eduardo Escobar. Boy, the Mets have been busy.
Woo.
But the Rays signing their young stud there, was it Wandy Garcia, to like an 11-year, 170 something.
Talk about
million.
Locking. So they think that he is a guy. He is that guy.
They think, yes, they do.
That's a Mike Trout, Fernando Tatis kind of guy, and they need to lock him up at a cheap level for a long time.
Right, at a cheap level, yes. And let me just see if
How do you turn that down, though?
Oh, no, if you're him, you can't. He's 20 years old. I mean, you're set for life. I mean, even if you can renegotiate. I'm sure there's going to be a clause in there that he can renegotiate after like 5 years or something. Yeah. I'm trying to look it up here. Hold on.
But I was looking, so just so we can go back to Gausman, I was looking it up, and I was like, because I said that maybe he pitched better at home. He did not.
Is it Wander? Excuse me. It's Wander Franco.
Right.
Yeah. Wander Franco. But the deal was 11 years, 182 million. Crazy. Good for him.
Hey, Clint.
Good for you, young man. Wow, Clint. We got a Clint sighting. How about that?
Caught you live today.
Speaking of Clint, we'll be talking about Clint Barnes in a little bit.
All right. So I want to get into Gausman real quick. So Gausman, I looked it up real quick. I just wanted to see like where he's at. And this past year, he did pitch better away than at home, which I'm a little shocked by. But if you look at his splits, I'd be a little concerned for someone that signed him, because pre-All-Star game, he pitched to a 1.73 ERA. Post All-Star game, he pitched to a 4.42 ERA.
There's your 2.89 or whatever it was. So yeah, okay.
So
that is a little concerning.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking still got five wins and 3 losses, 77 innings and 94 Ks. But I mean, that's a drastic difference, because his whip went up 0.55.
Yeah. I if you don't mind, I would just because as I told you before we went live, I was really enjoying myself last night on Twitter, just doing like generic searches for the Yankees, and just to see Yankee fans like
melting down
last night over the fact that they've done nothing so far, especially now that it looks like Seager's going to end up with the Rangers. So let me just read you some Yankee tweets from last night. I got 15 of them here. Okay, just in random order. Here's one. The Yankees can eat shit. Can't wait for the Yankees to come to terms with Freddie Galvis or Andrelton Simmons tweets and the Gardner ones. I guess $19 beers don't cut it for Hal anymore. Brian Cashman and Hal will use every excuse in the book not to spend money. They will undoubtedly point to the lockout while other teams race to get deals done. They're not a serious organization. Do not go to that crap ballpark this summer. Hashtag Yankees. You are the worst team in New York now. Wake the fuck up and stop pretending to be the Orioles, you losers, at Yankees. Yankees no longer run New York, unfortunately. Change my mind, Cashman, you bald fuck.
Jesus.
Max didn't want to play for the Yankees, but signs with the Mets. That says a lot about our front office. Why was I born a Yankee fan? One of the worst things that's ever happened in my life.
Oh my
This
God.
one was my favorite. This one was my favorite, though. I'm about to make a GoFundMe page for the Yankees because obviously they are too broke to do anything. That was great. Yankees are the little brother to the Mets in New York. Brian Cashman is a clown. How do I even defend the Yankees against Met fans when they just sign whoever the hell they want and we sit here doing nothing? After the moves by the Mets and Blue Jays today, the entire franchise should be embarrassed. Get something done. Breaking. The New York Yankees re-signed Brett Gardner to a 1-year, $5 million deal. Brian Cashman after the signing, quote unquote, we really needed this to happen. I think we're done for the winter. Hold on, a couple more. The Yankees management.
That's my favorite. I like
that one. Is good.
That's a good one.
That one was good. The Yankees management is a complete joke. George Steinbrenner is looking down at this once great franchise and completely embarrassed at his son Hal for what they've become. Average, completely average. So Ken Rosenthal had tweeted yesterday about Mad Max. So this guy said, so many teams making moves, and then there's the Yankees. Another thing about the Ken Rosenthal, this one guy just said, at Yankees, losers. And then here's the coup, just to top it off. This one almost sounds like it would have come from me.
Yeah.
Fuck the Yankees. Fuck Brian Cashman. Fuck Hal Steinbrenner. I hate my life. I hate baseball. Yankee fans are just in their feelings. I have to tell you, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just the fact that I've seen the way the Yankees have operated in the last few years, and I guess I can't get as worked up about it as I used to, because this is just sort of their MO now. The Yankees are operating within a budget, and this is just who they are now. And the days of George, Yankee fans have to accept that when George died, that part of the way the Yankees were run also died with him. His son is not the same guy. Hank was kind of that guy, but he was also an idiot. Hal is a smart guy, but he doesn't have his father's fervor for winning. He doesn't crave winning. He's a money guy. He's a financial dude. He wants to make money. He's about turning a profit. George was about that too, but George was obsessed with winning. Because George, I think, also felt like there was a means to an end. If I win, I'll make more money. Because in winning there's a lot of things that come with winning. Putting butts in seats, merchandising, big parades in New York City, just the brand recognition, the Yankees being a global entity. I think Hal only sees that in little pieces. He doesn't see that giant picture that I think his dad saw. I think Hal is a lot more focused on the books than he is about the winning. I think he feels like, well, we'll put a competitive team out there, and if we run into one, great. But if not, as long as we can get maybe like a playoff game or two, that's cool. That's just the way the Yankees are going to be run now. And, as much as you want to point the finger at like Brian Cashman, there's only so much he can do when he's working within a budget. He's got to get creative. He's got to work within those constraints, and it's not going to be easy for him to do. I mean, I still don't like Brian Cashman, and I still think he's overrated, but I also think that now he's really clamped and he's handcuffed in a way that he had not been before when George was alive. So this is just the way it's going to be. I mean, if you're the Yankees, you think you need to accept the fact that guys like Correa and guys like Seager, they're not coming. They're not coming. The Yankees are going to fly below the radar. They're going to make a lot more stealth moves, ones that Yankee fans are probably not going to like. The one move I could maybe see them making is I could see them bringing back Rizzo. I mean, I think that's a definite possibility. Maybe if they don't want to bring Rizzo back, I could see them trading for Olsen, which I would love. But that's going to be costly too, though, because that's going to cost you. And I think the Yankees, especially with this shortstop market, I think what they're thinking is, we're going to swim in shallower waters here. We'll bring in a guy for a year or two, and that way we can get Volpe ready because he'll be our next guy. And I think that's how they're trying to look at it, because I think they have to figure out what they're going to do with Aaron Judge. Are you going to pay him or not? Because, even though he's 31, he's still going to be in line for a 5 or 6 year deal for a lot of money. So what the Yankees have to make decisions here. I mean, I think we could effectively eliminate Gary Sanchez from getting a big contract. That's not going to happen. They'll ride out his deal where he's making no money, and deservedly so, and then they'll move on from him. And at that point, they'll probably hope Austin Wells is ready to take over. But yeah, Yankee fans, if you were really expecting them to go big this winter, I think you're going to be very disappointed. What are your thoughts?
I just put a Twitter poll up.
Yes.
We'll see how this does.
Okay.
I said, how have the Yankees done this offseason? Hashtag MLB free agency.
I mean,
hashtag MLB.
it's hard.
So the choices will be, the moves are coming. The moves are coming.
Okay.
Choice number 2 is, fuck Cashman and Hal.
That I feel like that's going to be the one that is going
And
to get
then
a lot of votes.
the third choice is just as something to do, is put your GIF in the comments.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I think you're going to get people choosing B and putting GIFs in the comments.
So as of right now, so far, your poll for Tua has 14 votes.
Okay.
71.4% say yes, he
Tua's
is
the
that
guy.
guy.
Yep.
And then nobody said no, get Watson. Not one single person said get Watson.
That's interesting.
And then 28.6 said they still need more time.
Okay. It's fair enough.
So far, after a big win, Tua is that guy. I feel like I have done polls like this before where they have said Tua is not that guy.
Yeah, right.
So, man, I don't know. I'd have to go and look at all our polls, but
Hey now.
whew, yeah, got to take a look at those polls. All right.
Check out them
Oh,
polls.
we got 3 votes so far, and all 3 say fuck Cashman and Hal.
Yeah, I can't say that's surprising. I can't say that that's surprising.
All right.
By the way, Vin Scully turned 94 today. Happy birthday, Vin.
Happy birthday, Vin.
The voice of baseball for so many.
Fantastic.
Voice of the Dodgers, certainly, but in many ways, baseball as well.
Seriously, yeah. Good times.
Wow.
Um,
Well, so that pretty much covers you for
yeah.
baseball.
I mean, as of right now, the Mets have just transformed their team, and
Yeah.
there's lots of other things going out there with like Steven Matt's agent and all that kind of stuff, being a little shady, kind of douchey, and also, there's just a lot going on. And
Today,
with other
today
teams,
is
not
the
so
day
much
to
with the
just
Yankees.
Keep hitting refresh on MLBTradeRumors.com today.
Holy
That's where you'll
crap.
be getting, and also keep hitting refresh on Twitter too when it comes to baseball. Today is going to be a hell of a hot stove day.
Good
No doubt
Lord.
about it. What's up?
Nothing.
No. Okay.
There's already 15 votes. I've had it up there for like 3 seconds
For which one?
for the Yankees.
Oh, I would assume it's
So
still
far,
the
26% say the moves are coming. 73% say fuck Cashman.
fuck Cashman and Hal. Yeah, that poll should get some play.
I mean, the other poll did pretty well too, quickly. I mean, but 15 votes in like 5 seconds, pretty impressive.
Not too bad. Not too bad.
All right, so let's get into. Oh,
Was this our
the Rotten Tomatoes game.
Rotten Tomatoes? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, let's get into it. Where is that? Do I have that in here? I think I do. There it is. We're doing How Is This Actually, correct?
Yeah.
Welcome to the Rotten Tomatoes game. How is this actually?
Yeah. How is this actually rated this high? That's what we're going to do. And we've chose that we can do TV or movie.
Mm-hmm.
I went with movie. And it's basically because
I did too.
I'm more shocked with how high this is rated compared to its predecessor.
Okay.
So, who do you got for this? How is this actually? What do you have here on Rotten Tomatoes that you feel the critics have just gotten wrong? Or the audience, because we can also do that. You can choose the audience.
In this case, the audience, I believe, got it right, as they had this movie at 56%. The critics, however, had that number inverted. So they had it at 65%.
Okay.
Which is a relatively decent score.
I mean, it's 65% thought it was a good movie. So yeah.
It is. It's not certified fresh, but it's
fresh.
It's not bad. And that movie, we've all seen it, is Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. And there were some, it was interesting. As I was going through some of because I believe that's just a terrible movie.
I enjoy the prequels more than you do. But
yeah, I feel like it was just a really lackluster effort by George. And there were just some of the critics' reviews that really resonated with me. And I just wanted to read a couple of them. So one of them, this guy was Stanley Kaufman from the New Republic. He's considered to be a top critic. And I believe in this case, he's talking about George Lucas. He says his characters, as is now his norm, are plastic puppets, even in the confectionery love scenes. Most of their dialogue is so doughy that it could be spooned into comic strip balloons. Lucas simply has no interest in these people. I could not agree with that more. Because some of the scenes, those scenes between Padme and Anakin are just nauseatingly bad dialogue. Like, you have to ask yourself, who the fuck wrote this shit? Like, what were they thinking? Like, who wrote this? Like, my kids would write better dialogue than this. Like, it was awful. And kind of to your point, this was one from Tony Black, Cultural Conversation. Not considered a top critic, but again, kind of resonated with me. You go into this prequel wanting to love it and come out wondering what happened to the Star Wars you grew up with and whether it is really gone forever. Listen, that's a powerful review. It just, and again, this might be this one. I don't know who this woman is. Rachel Wagner. The core story could have been good, or at least has good elements. Unfortunately, all of that gets lost in a terrible romance between Anakin and Padme with some of the worst romantic dialogue I've ever heard. And I really think that sums it up. It's just not a good movie. And I don't know how 65% of critics thought, yeah, this is a viable film. Just don't know.
I am probably more in line with the critics on this, but like, it's close. Like, I think 2 is probably my least favorite of the 3 prequels.
Here's another one. Steve Biodrowski from E-Splatter. Attack of the Clones emerges looking as bad as if not worse than its 1999 predecessor, thanks to the lame romantic subplot, which is so badly written, directed, and performed that it surpasses Jar Jar Binks as the all-time low point in the series. Ouch.
Oh,
man.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not what you want.
No, it should not have been at 65. I agree with the audience. 56 was okay. Like, I would almost put it in like maybe a guilty pleasure-ish kind of category, but I didn't even like it enough for it to fall into that category. So yeah, that is mine. Star Wars 2, Attack of the Clones. Not good. Not a good movie. Not a 65.
So
I would consider 65 to be a watchable movie.
Yeah, of course.
Attack of the Clones is it's a slog. That's tough. And the acting is just bad.
Well, yeah,
I don't I don't hate Hayden Christensen either. I think he and I think Natalie Portman, who is a tremendous actress, were the victims of bad dialogue.
Oh yeah. For sure.
Like even like she's such a good actress, but when she is saying some of those lines, you're just like you're cringing. It's like you're sucking on a lemon because you're just like, wow, even she couldn't deliver that line well. You know, like that's.
Well, his thing was like, he would just like be like, "Can you do that better?"
Right.
Wait, what do you mean better? Like, do you need more emotion or just like, yeah, just do it better?
Let's do it better.
Okay.
Anything but what you just did.
Yeah, just don't do it like that. Can you just do it a little better?
Right. Okay, what's yours?
So mine is actually a movie that I don't mind. I don't like it. I don't like the movie. I can watch it and get enjoyment out of it from time to time. Okay. But I do not think so. My biggest issue with this is I do feel like the audience got the score correct and the critics got it wrong.
Okay. So just like mine, similar. Okay.
Yes, very similar. And my main reason is because the predecessor was actually ranked lower than this by the critics. And
your pick is Star Wars 2: Attack of the Clones.
Is Anchorman 2.
Oh God, yeah.
Anchorman 2. The critics gave this movie a 75%.
What?
75%.
Shit! How did I not know that? That movie's awful.
And the audience gave it 52%. So 52% said it was good. And 48% said bad. 75% of the critics said it was a good movie.
Oh my God.
And if you had to guess what Anchorman, the original, an all-time classic of a movie got.
Yes.
66% by the critics.
I was going to say 65 actually, so.
And 86 by the audience.
Yeah. See, the audience got that right.
They got them both right.
They did get them both right. And in this case,
the first Anchorman movie is an all-time classic.
Without a doubt.
It's
one of the most quotable movies ever.
The second Anchorman movie is unfortunate.
I could not quote one line from Anchorman.
It's unfortunate.
Not one. Yes.
It's an unfortunate movie. And it's really sad to me that has a higher rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
I just remember him like living in a lighthouse. He had a relationship with a shark of some kind. Like it was just
the scene when they were in the RV was like cringy, you know.
Oh, like when like the RV started driving itself because like nobody was driving.
Like that was funny. They didn't need to show all the stupid stuff that happened inside. They could have just had it roll off a cliff and then them walking out afterwards like, whoa, that was kind of crazy. Yeah. Got to remember to drive. That would have been so much better than like showing all the stupid stuff happening on the inside.
Yeah.
Like it was just, there was so many flaws.
Terrible. It's a terrible movie.
I could watch it, but not because I enjoyed it. It's just because it's on and I'd be like, okay, it'll give me a couple chuckles here and there, I'm sure. But I watched it once. And I never watched it again.
If I was like surfing around on my phone or something, if that.
I never watched it. I don't think I ever watched it a second time.
Yeah, it's.
And I watch Anchorman probably once a year. Like Anchorman is a classic. That's up there with like the Old School and the Wedding Crashers and all those all-time comedy greats. Yeah.
Zoolander. Yeah.
So many quotes. So much greatness.
Yes.
It's such a letdown.
Wow, I did not realize it was at 75. How the fuck did they get? And actually, I'll even get. I mean, the audience. I'm not going to give them too much trouble. 52%. It's terrible, but I don't even know how it got that high.
Yeah, that means that still more people liked it than didn't like it.
Right, which I don't understand. It's terrible. I mean, just like to me, that's just like blind loyalty to like a franchise.
Yeah.
As opposed to just like not objectively looking at the film and saying, okay, this was an issue. Like, this was just good.
It got 75%, and Tommy Boy is at 42%.
That's terrible. That should be a How Is This Only.
See, that's why I've done that one already. I've done that one.
That's why I like How Is This Only, because How Is This Only is so much easier to do.
I've done Tommy Boy though. I've done that one before.
Yeah, like you could do Anchorman as a How Is This Only, even at the 66%.
Yes, because it should be in the at least mid 80s.
Right.
At least.
Yes. Correct.
Totally missed that one. Ugh, too bad. All right.
Maybe we should do a How Is This Actually Only. Which is the same as
I don't know if Clinton's still there or not, but Clint, if you are, we talked about the Bills kind of like for like a second earlier. Didn't really get into them too much. I kind of mentioned how I like their safety situation. That was about all that was said about the Bills today.
So what are we quickly touching on Hawkeye?
Yes,
or are we spinning the wheel first?
Yeah, we can quickly talk about Hawkeye. Because, and I can also do the, where is it? Here it is.
Where do you think you're going?
Should have done this before, but I didn't.
I'm going to sort it out.
We're going to go into Hawkeye. Just a real quick review. I watched the first 2 episodes. It was okay. It was fine. There was moments that I had some fun, but it's tough because as I do like Haley Steinfeld as an actress. I do think she's good. I just don't find her that believable in this role. I don't know. I was making fun of her run. So like there's times where she's jogging and she kind of jogs with like her duck feet like out. Oh, okay. And I was like, that doesn't look like a ninja to me. My son decided he was like pissing himself. He was laughing so hard when I said that. That doesn't really look like a ninja to me. Because it's, but I'm hoping that I'll enjoy it. Like I didn't really love Jeremy Renner's role so far in this. Like I want to see him do a little bit more, maybe coach her a little bit more, which I'm sure you're going to get through time.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, you're going to
as of right now, I'd be generous by giving it a 6 out of 10. But that's where I'm at right now. Like, I'm not really looking forward to the next couple of episodes that drop or the episodes that drop. But I'm going to watch them. I'm going to give it a little bit more time. Cam seemed to enjoy it enough.
Okay. I'm a little higher than you. I'm a 7 out of 10 on this so far. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's 94% with critics and 84% with the audience. I think both of those are high in my opinion, but again, this is only the first 2 episodes, so this is a marathon. This is not a sprint. So I think you have to remember that too as you are, as you're going through this series, as you would go through any series, right? Like I don't think it's fair to judge it by just these first 2 episodes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you gotta, I think you have to, just, we got to let this sort of marinate a little bit more, and see where it goes. But off the bat, I will tell you that I like it. I like the premise, and I want to see where it goes. Kate Bishop again is another Marvel character that we're, that is with comic book lore and that we're being introduced to. So we'll see where it goes. The other thing I binge watched this weekend on Saturday morning, Saturday was great. I woke up, I did nothing. I just binge watched this show, all 10 episodes of it, because I am so sucked into this show. It's embarrassing.
What's that?
But the reboot of Saved by the Bell season 2.
Really?
Oh my God, I binge watched all 10 episodes. I love it. Well, because I liked the first season, and I liked the second season just as much.
Huh. I've never even seen an episode.
Oh man. I mean, you were a Saved by the Bell fan.
I loved it. Zach Morris is my idol.
Yeah. I mean, Zach Morris is most people's idol.
Yeah.
I mean, like my wife and I almost named a child Zach.
That's amazing.
Because of Zach Morris. Yeah. So.
And that's why I love Ryan Reynolds so much, because he's like the living version of Zach Morris.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So he's quick, he's quicker witted. Like he's just.
But it's a Peacock original show. So if you have Peacock, you can watch it. If you don't, I'll give you mine.
I have Xfinity, so I think it comes with it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, but seasons 1 and 2 are up. I enjoyed season 1, and then I loved season 2 even more. And it's very early on Rotten Tomatoes. There's only like literally 5 reviews for both the audience and for critics, but it's at 100% for critics and 88% for audience. So yeah. I mean, that's 8. That's 8 reviews for the audience, 5 reviews for critics. Okay. So I mean, it's 100% for critics, but it's great.
TV.
Dude, it's great.
Some more niche TV shows don't get a lot of ratings. So
I know, and there are some good, especially probably some of these like streamers where you're not going to have that many people, critiquing it. But I have to tell you, there were some good LOL moments though in season 2. Like I was bursting out laughing.
Wow.
At a couple of spots. Yeah, it was just great. And what I liked about this season was there was a lot more of Zach, he showed up. He was in it a lot more.
Ah. See,
Kelly
now
was
you
in it a
sold me.
lot more. Yeah, Zach was in it a lot more. Kelly's in it a lot
Zach
more.
Morris is everybody's idol, and Kelly Kapowski was everybody who wanted their girlfriend.
Lisa's in it a couple of times.
Really?
She shows up a couple of times. They did at the end, I think, of the. Again, I watched all 10 episodes. I can't remember. I think it was right at the end of the first episode of season 2. I think they did a nice, quick sort of little tribute to Screech at the end.
Oh, okay.
So that was nice.
I don't know if
and
that was
then,
needed.
Yeah, I don't know if
He was
it was
kind,
needed
he was
either,
kind
but
of a weird
he was kind of a
dude.
dick. Yeah, and a dick. Right?
Yeah.
But at any rate, though, yes. So, but I oh my God, I'm like so excited for season 3. But I love the new characters too. It's very diverse. It's got a lot of heart. It's just fun. It's a fun show, and it's an easy watch. I mean, each episode is only like 30 something minutes, so it's not like you can't. I banged through it in the morning. Like I woke up, I started. I don't even remember. I just randomly came onto it because I didn't even realize season 2 was in the books yet.
Yeah.
So then I saw it and I was like, "Fuck!" And then of course, you know how it is. Like, it was just one of those things where I watched the first episode and then it just runs right into one episode, and I just was just like, I'm just gonna do this all morning.
Yeah. Just gonna chill.
Yeah, I didn't even get my workout in until like later.
Saved by the bell and chill.
Yeah, it was great. It was very much. Yeah.
So the one that I've been binging lately is Ted Lasso.
Oh yeah.
I am almost done with season 2, and I am with everyone out there as this show is amazing.
It is.
Absolutely amazing.
Yes, it is.
I love it. It's a
Truly.
different, the second season is definitely different than the first.
Yeah.
But I love it just as much.
Not as good, but
I love
in
it
my
just as much
opinion,
because it's totally different.
But it's so great. It's still great.
It's different. It's still great. It's different. The way that they're taking some of these characters is much more complex and deep.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to seeing how this all turns out. So I'm absolutely loving the show. I think it's
How far
amazing.
are you through season 2?
I think I'm at episode 8.
Oh, okay. So you're close.
I'm almost done. Yeah. I'm going to finish it tonight.
Yeah.
We have been, me and my wife have been binging it, and it's absolutely tremendous. The whole thing is just so good. All the characters. There is not a character that I dislike. I dislike characters because they want me to dislike characters, which is perfect. Right. And they do a great job with that. Like, I don't dislike any of the good characters. You know?
Oh yeah.
And that's so rare. Like, it's usually they're just they're dragging down the show.
Yeah.
And there's none of that here. None of it.
Yep. Right.
I'm starting to dislike a character, but
it's probably
I don't want to get into it.
Everybody
I don't want to get into it until I finish it, because then if I finish it, I'm like one of the last people to watch it, so I'm not spoiling it for anybody.
Well, if it's the character you're thinking, you're gonna really dislike that character by the end of season 2. So.
Oh, I'm sure. You can just see it the way that it's going.
Yes.
It's on a bad path, and
it's on a bad trajectory, and I'm sure we're talking about the same person. So.
Yeah, and I feel like he's just gonna leak a bunch of stuff, and he's gonna ostracize himself, and so.
Well, now we're definitely talking about the same character, because right off the bat you just gave away the gender too. So.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
So yes, it is him.
Yeah, he was such a likable character too.
He was early on. He was one of the most likable characters early on. And boy, he took a heel turn.
Got a little bit to the head. Yeah.
Yep.
And as soon as that whole,
and let me tell you, the way season 2 ends,
the way that this game gets in, this way that this whole game goes, I am like that game where he became something.
Yes.
I said right after that, I was like, he needs to go to the dock right now. He needs to go to the dock right after that, like after that conference that he had, needs to head over to the dock right now. And he needs to go to therapy immediately get to therapy, because he is going to get out of control. Yeah. And I was like, I was like, right there, go now, go to therapy immediately.
Yep.
Because you can't have that kind of success overnight and have it really affect you too positively. You're just going to spin out, and it is happening, but.
Yep.
Woo!
It's good. It's a great show.
Great show.
It really is.
I can't wait to finish the last 2 episodes. I'm very excited. And then I'm going to head back over to Billions and catch up on that, because I haven't.
I think what makes Ted Lasso so great too is that the thing I'm most disinterested about it is the soccer part. Like, I don't even care about that part. It's still great, but it's all the other stuff.
I do like it.
I mean, I like it,
Yeah.
but it's the part that intrigues me the least, and yet
It's like
still
it's
really
like football
entertaining.
and Jerry Maguire.
Yeah, right, exactly. Right. It's just all the other stuff. It's all the subplots. It's all the storylines. And again, speaking of shows with heart, that's a show with tremendous heart. So
Yeah, and I really really enjoy it. I'm a big fan.
because Ted
and,
Lasso, it just has so much, and so does Roy Kent, even though it's behind that gruff exterior. Because he's maybe the best character in the show in general.
He's
just
amazing.
he's fantastic.
when
He's
he talks to his little girl, that little girl,
I
Phoebe.
know. Oh, it's so great. Yeah, it's so great. It's fantastic. That guy is such a great actor, man.
When he was talking with the teacher when she got in trouble for swearing, and she's like, she called the boy a fucking twat or something like that.
Yeah.
I was like, and then he looks at her and he goes, well, is he?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, yeah. And he's like, all right, so what's the problem?
Right. Yeah. He's just a phenomenal character. He really is. It's fun, man. It's a fun show. I can't wait for season 3.
Yeah.
I don't know when it's coming, but I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm a big fan, and I really enjoy it. As someone who coaches, I coach basketball, and I did coach baseball for a little while when my son was playing, and I kind of help him out with golf and all that kind of stuff. I really, because Christine said that this is how I am when I coach. Like, she's like, that's what I act like when I coach. I'm like happy-go-lucky and very positive, and very kind of like, let's get the job, but like, don't worry about it. Well, we're gonna get all that kind of stuff. Like, that's how I act. And although I do get on them and make them run and do all that kind of stuff, ultimately you can tell that I care. So that I was like, oh, that's nice. Thanks, hon. That's nice of you. So
sure, who wouldn't want to be Coach Lasso?
Yeah, I was like, that's a good compliment. I'll take that.
What was Clint talking about when he said, "I'm waiting for her to break out in song from Pitch Perfect 3"?
Hawkeye.
Who was that?
We're talking about Haley Steinfeld.
Oh, Haley. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I thought that was funny.
I love all the Pitch Perfect movies.
I thought that was funny.
I'm definitely an Aka bitch or whatever.
Aka pitch?
Aka, excuse me?
So far, the tweets are coming in. 38 votes.
For the Yankees?
For the Yankees, yep. And I've been the only one that's actually put a GIF in.
Okay.
But fuck Cashman and Hal is still leading 65.8% to the moves are coming, 26.3%. So people do think that the moves are coming.
Okay.
But
I mean, they are. They're not going to do nothing. The question is, what are they going to do? And is it going to be something that is satisfactory to Yankee fans? I would say the answer to that is almost definitively no.
Somebody know? We got another.
What?
We got another GIF.
Yes.
JMS 15. We're waiting.
Yeah, we're waiting. Yeah, that's the perfect one to describe it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So what do we got? We got to spin a wheel.
Yeah, spin that wheel. All right, let me. Can you see the? Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see like the top half of it. Yeah. Okay, now I can.
Oh,
okay.
Well,
okay. What? Okay, there we go.
How's that?
That's Yes, that's pretty decent. Okay,
Good?
go ahead.
Good.
Yeah, give her a spin.
All right. So let me. I have to get to the camera now, though. All right, that's good. Yeah. Here we go.
Oh, is that one we already did?
We just did that. I thought I replaced it.
You did not. Spin it again.
Oh, I did it on the other one. That's why, stupid.
Oh. Why? What was supposed to be? What was supposed to be there?
I thought it was going to be the guys who should be in the Hall of Fame, but that's on a different section now.
Watch now. We're gonna get like
pick a director to recast and film a movie.
Okay. It's gonna be a tough one.
It's not going to be easy.
Pick a director to recast and film a movie.
Yeah, like Christopher Nolan films Jaws.
Yeah, right.
I think he'd do a good job of that.
I'm not going to do Jaws because I've done Jaws recasts before, so I got to pick something else. Maybe I'll do my second favorite movie, The Fugitive. But then I
Ooh.
don't know. I don't want to do that either, though. Do something like a little more. Well, I mean, that's a very dramatic movie. I don't know. Maybe a horror movie. Gotta find a good horror movie. All right, I like it.
Oh, I could do a horror movie.
That's some homework for the week.
So, director, recast, and film
Yeah.
movie.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna maybe do this, and I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
So okay. So we have to pick the director, the movie, and the recast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a tough one.
Yeah,
But I like it. I like it though. All right. So let's get into
Maybe the guy I was just imitating there would be a good movie to recast. Lethal Weapon. Little Leo Getz,
Could be.
but Leo Getz didn't show up until like the second Lethal Weapon, right?
Oh, and Mel Gibson is doing another Lethal Weapon.
God, is he with Danny Glover?
I think he's filming the next installment,
Oh my God,
unless he's rebooting it. I don't know. I heard something about it.
that's hilarious.
Weapon.
Well, I mean, Danny Glover's still alive too. You got to bring him back, and Joe Pesci too. You got to bring them all back. And Renee
Yeah,
Russo.
Mel
You gotta
Gibson
bring her
to
back.
direct Lethal Weapon 5.
Oh my God!
Direct and star in Lethal Weapon 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll watch it. I loved the Lethal Weapon movies.
I mean, he's another one that's kind of a douche, but you gotta separate yourself from the art and the scumbag,
Well,
right? Because he just has said a lot of stupid and horrible things.
Racist, horrible things, bigoted things. Yeah, he's not a great guy. Not a great human.
But he is a very talented director and a very talented actor, and
Well, I do the same thing with Tom Cruise with separating him from Scientology,
Yeah.
even because I think Scientology is just a gigantic cult. But
you're not wrong.
no.
Although we might have
I
just
would-
gotten canceled off of YouTube for saying that. I don't know.
Who cares? Although I would say that he's not as bad a person. Well, who knows though? There's a lot with that Scientology shit though, so I don't really know. He could be. He actually could be worse.
We don't know though, because nothing comes
Hey,
out.
listen, I know.
Did you hear about some of the stuff that goes out there? Like, if they say, like, people have said stuff about Scientology and then they get blacklisted from Hollywood.
Oh yeah. No, I watched the Leah Remini show. Yeah. It's riveting.
It's scary.
It's extremely scary though. I mean, it sounds like a little more than just it sounds like a cult, but with a lot more layers to it though.
Yeah.
Like it's some scary ass shit.
You ain't lying.
Yeah. I mean, like people getting followed after they like try to get out of it, and it's a lot of intimidation that goes on with it.
Yeah.
And
Which is
obviously
weird
just
because how it
The
starts.
scam
is-
side of it.
How it starts isn't that way. Like, it doesn't start that way. It starts off very like family, like love,
Right.
like oh
And
yeah.
then-
Let me just tell you about it.
Right.
And then it's like just sucking you in, and then you're kind of like
it's
letting your guard
pyramid
down, and then it's like boom.
scheme-ish, and there's just a lot. There's a lot. Like I said, there's a lot of layers.
Terrifying. Kind of terrifying.
Well,
All right.
I guess we're done, huh?
Yeah, we are done. So thank you guys for watching or listening, however you took this in. If you have us in the background, we appreciate you. Just if you could do us a favor, give us a little like, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff. I think it's this one. Give us a like that thumb, smack it, and then flip the subscribe button, and then rub down the bell, the notification bell.
You don't need to rub anything down, but I mean, do that on your own time. I don't want to hear about it.
All right. Find us on Twitter at Shane and Bryman, where we are putting up these polls. Go ahead and vote, and we will take a look at these polls next week. And then you can find me on
You
Twitter
just like
at
saying
Einhorn.
polls.
Polls. Hey, I like talking polls.
I know you do.
And then you can find me on Twitter at Einhorn.
You can find me on Twitter at _Brian_man. And we have reached the end of the show. And in the words of the immortal Tony Stark, part of the journey is the end. But we will be back next
Long show today.
Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a long show today.
And we'll be back on Monday for
It's like lunchtime already.
yeah, come back next week for a much more 60-minute-ish show. And
Yeah, hopefully.
we don't like to go more than 90 minutes. That's like the max, but prefer to go an hour. Lots of
No
stuff.
woman has ever said that to me. They've never had to.
All right. Thank you. See you soon. Talk to you later. Bye.
I reveal way too much on this show. Thank God nobody watches.